Welcome to the Canadian Beef Cattle Podcast, presented by the Beef Cattle Research Council, the most popular content from beefresearch.ca, available on the go. Before we get into this week's episode, a quick message from the BCRC. CowBytes ration balancing software is available through the BCRC. This easy-to-use ration balancing software allows Canadian beef cattle producers to develop their own rations. Producers can input various combinations of feed and byproducts at different prices to reduce feed costs while meeting animal production targets. The software costs $60 and can be purchased now at beefresearch.ca/cowbytes. That's beefresearch.ca/COWBYTES. This episode features the BCRC Science Director, Dr. Reynold Bergen.
Today I'm going to talk about some of the results of the Canadian Cow-Calf Survey. So earlier this year, we asked you to participate in the industry's Canadian Cow-Calf Survey. And knowing what production practices cow-calf producers are adopting in different regions of the country and which practices they aren't adopting and why they're not adopting them helps the BCRC target our producer-focused extension efforts better. Now, the official report isn't out yet, but I'll give you a sneak peek at some of the seasonally relevant results for fall. So what we did was put this big survey out. It was open, it was available online between November 2023 and March 2024, and asked cow-calf producers to respond to it. And we had 600 producers who manage 95,000 breeding cows respond to that survey. And when we do the math, that represents about 3% of Canada's cow herd, which doesn't sound like a lot. But for reference, when you look at national consumer polls or national voter polls, they typically target between 1,000 or 1,500 consumers or voters. And so that's actually about 0.0025% of Canada's population of 39 million. So maybe 3% is not that bad. So what did we learn from this? Well, we asked a bunch of questions. Low stress weaning is becoming more popular, especially in central and eastern Canada. So what that's about is bovine respiratory disease, or BRD. So the multiple stresses that are associated with weaning tend to weaken the calf's immune system and make it more susceptible to BRD. And calves that have been weaned using low-stress weaning practices, so that's things like two-stage weaning or fence line weaning or natural weaning, those calves spend less time walking and bawling and more time resting and eating than abruptly weaned calves do. And abrupt weaning is just another way of saying weaned onto the truck. So low-stress weaning can help reduce the risk of BRD. And our latest survey indicated that low-stress weaning is becoming more common in eastern Canada. So depending on the region, between 55 to 58% of eastern Canadian producers reported using low-stress weaning, and that's higher than the 33 to 46% reported in the 2017 surveys that were done out there. Low-stress weaning has changed less in Western Canada, and lack of time, lack of labor, lack of facilities, logistical challenges, lack of convenience, and lack of economic incentive are the major barriers to adopting low-stress weaning. Pregnancy checking, it remains stable. Pregnancy checking and culling open cows helps to manage winter feed supplies and costs. And our survey told us that similar numbers of Western Canadian producers pregnancy checked their cows and heifers in spite of drought, feed shortages, and high hay prices. Pregnancy checking also remains stable in central and eastern Canada for both cows and heifers. And a third of the producers who don't pregnancy check felt they were able to visually identify which cows were open. And a quarter of them didn't see value in pregnancy checking just because they sold their cows in spring when prices are generally higher. And that can be a viable strategy when winter feed supplies and market conditions work in your favor. More producers are body condition scoring Body condition score is one of the simplest and most accurate predictors of cow health and rebreeding performance. In the most recent survey, more Western Canadian producers reported visually evaluating body condition score than in our last survey in 2017. Adoption increased even more in Central and Eastern Canada. Now, hands-on body condition scoring remain much lower in all across the country. And the accuracy of visual body condition scoring goes down the farther you are away from the animal or the deeper the hair coat is. So, if she's in the chute anyway to vaccinate or to preg check in fall, why not reach through and feel what's actually there? We also learned that more producers are using that body condition score to manage their cows through the winter. So feeding thin or older or younger growing heifers separately from mature cows that are in good body condition is a simple way to help them all get through the winter in optimal condition. And the most recent survey said that more Western producers are using body condition score in their cow management decisions, and adoption in Eastern Canada doubled, so it's really going up there. More producers are feed testing. Of course, feed testing tells you what the nutrient levels are in the feed that you've got. And most producers in Western and Central and Eastern Canada report having tested their feed at least periodically, although not necessarily every year or multiple times through the year. And more Central and Eastern Canadian producers are using those feed test results to develop rations. The feed test results are only useful if you use them to ensure that your cattle are getting the nutrition that they need to grow or to rebreed and to get pregnant and successfully maintain a pregnancy and then deliver and wean a healthy calf. In Western Canada, the vast majority of producers continue to use their feed test results to develop rations. But adoption among Central and Eastern Canadian producers has increased a lot since the last survey. So the bottom line is that success comes from doing the right small things and from doing the small things right. Your Canadian Beef Cattle Checkoff helps us to develop science-based tools to help you evaluate whether a particular production practice, like those ones I just talked about, make economic sense for your operation. And if you look at our website, there's lots of those tools that you can take advantage of if you're not already. So what does this mean to you? Well, you don't control the price of feed and you don't control the price of calves, but you do control the management decisions that you make. So visit beefresearch.ca if you'd like more information on any of the things that I talked about.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode. You can find all relevant links and information at beefresearch.ca or in the show notes. The Beef Cattle Research Council is funded by the Canadian Beef Cattle Checkoff and strives for excellence in the production of Canadian beef, cattle, and forage through research, innovation, and extension. Tune in every Tuesday as the Canadian Beef Cattle Podcast delivers straightforward insights, expert information, and a wealth of practical knowledge for Canadian beef producers. Subscribe now.